To the world, I'm Lipakshi Khulana, coming up in the next hour. Russia takes full control of the Ukrainian town of Avdiivka after Ukrainian troops withdrew. Forging naval alliances for a secure maritime future, India is set to host a 9-day mega naval exercise Milan 2024 in Visakhapatnam in Andhra Pradesh.
Tempo of operation is quite high in the western seaboard right now because 10 of our ships are deployed for anti-drone measures and another 3 ships are deployed for 3 to 4 ships are deployed for anti-piracy operations, which is unprecedented. It's not been this case earlier.
Indian women beat USA in shootout at the FIH Hockey Pro League 2023-24. And we begin with updates on Russia-Ukraine conflict. Russian Defense Ministry released a video claiming it had taken full control of the Ukrainian town of Avdiivka after Ukrainian troops withdrew on Sunday. Though Moscow said that some were still holed up in a Soviet-era coke plant, Ukraine said it had withdrawn its soldiers to save troops from being fully surrounded after months of fierce fighting. Putin hailed the fall of Avdiivka as an important victory and congratulated Russian troops. Well, this fall of Avdiivka is Russia's biggest achievement in the past 9 months since it captured the city of Bakhmut in May 2023. The White House says it happened because the Ukrainians are running out of ammunition and blamed Congress for failing to agree on a new round of funding. Our Washington correspondent Jagruti Dave has more.
The U.S. House of Representatives is struggling to approve $60 billion worth of aid to Ukraine because of divisions in the Republican Party. The funding is part of a wider $95 billion foreign aid package, which was approved by the Senate earlier last week. Now, in a statement, the White House has said that Ukraine's military was forced to withdraw from Avdiivka after Ukrainian soldiers had to ration ammunition due to dwindling supplies as a result of congressional inaction. This statement was part of a readout of a phone call between US President Joe Biden and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, in which Joe Biden reaffirmed the United States' commitment to Ukraine ahead of the 2-year anniversary of the Russian invasion.
Розмова з президентом Байденом, дуже важливі акценти.
The conversation with President Biden, very important points in particular about Avdiivka and the necessity for the continuation of principled and sufficient support for Ukraine. The talks with the Vice President of the United States were very substantial. Meetings with congressmen, representatives of both parties, both chambers of the American Congress. And each such conversation confirmed the key idea as clearly as possible. Ukraine can stop Putin and create conditions for him to be punished for all the evils he has done.
Speaking to reporters after this call, Joe Biden also said that he reassured his Ukrainian counterpart that the $60 billion would get through Congress and into Ukrainian hands. Writing on the social media app Telegram, President Volodymyr Zelensky said that he's glad that he can count on the full support of the American president. Jagruti Dave in Washington for DD India.
While Chinese and Ukrainian foreign ministers met on the sidelines of Munich Security Conference in Germany, Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi said China will continue to play a constructive role in stopping the conflict and rebuilding peace in the Ukraine. Wang added China hopes its relations with Ukraine to continuously benefit people of both the countries and will continue to play a constructive role in stopping wars and rebuilding peace. Kuleba said Ukraine is willing to maintain friendly exchanges with China and further promote development of relations with China. And British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak and European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen spoke about Ukraine, Gaza, the Red Sea and the death of Alexei Navalny on Sunday. In a statement, the spokesperson said EU President expressed their outrage at the death of Alexei Navalny and underscored the utmost importance of holding those responsible within the Russian system to account. Sunak and von der Leyen also condemned the Houthi attacks in the Red Sea, adding the Prime Minister updated the EU Commission head on his recent conversations with the Israeli Prime Minister and the King of Jordan about the situation in Israel and Gaza. Also, EU foreign ministers are meeting in Brussels on Monday. The Foreign Affairs Council will continue the discussion on Russia-Ukraine conflict, focusing on the EU's military support for Ukraine, security commitments, sanctions against Russia and Ukraine's peace plan. The Council will also exchange views on the humanitarian situation in Gaza settlements and regional development with regard to the situation in the Middle East, along with the situation in the Sahel region. The Council will also have a discussion with the Director General of the International Atomic Energy Agency, Rafael Grossi. Well, Japan hosted Ukrainian Prime Minister Denis Shmyhal on Monday in Tokyo to discuss the reconstruction of Ukraine and pledging a new bilateral tax treaty as the Ukraine conflict rages on. Japan's Prime Minister Fumio Kishida said in a speech opening the talks that they stood with and continue to stand with Ukraine. As Russia's offensive in Ukraine enters its third year, Japan has pledged more than $10 billion worth of financial aid as it seeks to show solidarity with Kyiv's war effort.
ゼレンスキー大統領は、ウクライナへの支援は慈善事業ではなく、世界の安全保障と民主主義への投資だと述べられました。私は、さらに新しい意義を加えたいと思います。それは未来への投資です。経済復興、産業高度化のフェーズに至るまで、また復旧・復興を持続可能とする基盤整備を含め、生活再建を後押しし、新たな産業創出でウクライナの経済発展に貢献すべく、さまざまな取り組みを進めていきます。
Also, amidst the unrest in Red Sea, British maritime security firm Ambre reported an attack on British general cargo ship at a strait between Yemen on the Arabian Peninsula and Djibouti and Eritrea in the Horn of Africa. According to the United Kingdom Maritime Trade Operations, the attack took place on the south of Yemen's Al-Muqa at Bab al-Mandab Strait. Though the strike was within the close proximity to the vessel, no casualties have been reported. And the United States conducted 5 self-defense strikes in areas of Yemen controlled by the Iranian-backed Houthi militia on Saturday. It said it struck 3 mobile anti-ship cruise missiles, 1 unmanned underwater vessel and 1 unmanned surface vessel, as they presented an imminent threat to U.S. Navy ships and merchant ships in the area. Commercial vessels in Red Sea have been under fire as Houthi disrupts the global shipping traffic. And moving on, the 60th Munich Security Conference due to a close on Sunday. Some 50 heads of state and government attended the conference in Germany, among them the presidents of Ukraine and Israel and U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris. The conflicts in Ukraine and Israel dominated discussions. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar pitched for stronger relationships with Western countries, which are getting better by the day.
The conflicts in Ukraine and Israel dominated discussions at the 60th Munich Security Conference in Germany. Donald Trump's remarks on NATO to ramp up its defense spends were also in focus.
And I think the Americans are simply saying to our European friends, you guys have to step up. There is going to be a pivot in American policy, a focus to East Asia. Given that reality, I think the Europeans have to take a more aggressive role in their own defense.
The delay in U.S. aid for Ukraine is putting more of a burden on Europe, with Germany being the second largest provider of military assistance to Ukraine. Beyond the closed-door discussions, calls for peace were also louder than ever. More than 1,000 Germans rallied in Munich on Saturday to oppose the sending of weapons to Ukraine and asked for peaceful thinking to resolve conflicts.
We have to redefine our German relationship to the US, and by this also redefining our relationship with Russia. A European infrastructure for security and peace needs to be created with Russia, not against Russia.
More weapons will only bring about more violence. It creates a cycle of violence. We hope to use the demonstration to call on the attendees of Munich Security Conference to get rid of the military mindset and methods and adopt peaceful thinking to resolve conflicts.
India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar had a power-packed schedule of bilaterals on the sidelines of this conference in Germany. One of the major highlights was his meeting with US Secretary of State Antony Blinken and former US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo. Both the leaders exchanged views on contemporary politics. Sharing the stage with US Secretary of State Antony Blinken and German Foreign Minister Annalena Baerbock at a panel on Saturday night, Jaishankar hawked the limelight, saying India is non-West than anti-West, but it has extremely strong relationship with Western countries, which are getting better by the day.
Your question, do we have multiple options? Answer is yes. Is that a problem? Why should it be a problem? If I'm smart enough to have multiple options, you should be admiring me. You shouldn't be criticizing. Now, is that a problem for other people? I don't think so. I don't think so, certainly in this case and in that case, because, look, we try to explain what are the different pulls and pressures which countries have.
The Indian Foreign Minister also held a meeting with his Saudi Arabian counterpart, Faisal bin Farhan Al Saud, and discussed the West Asia situation and contours of the strategic partnership. While meeting his Norway counterpart, Espen Barth Eide, in Munich, Jaishankar said he had a big-picture chat with him. Dr. Jaishankar also met with Foreign Minister of Palestine, Riyad Al-Maliki. The ministers exchanged views on the current situation in Gaza. Dr. Jaishankar also met Foreign Minister of Armenia, Ararat Mirzoyan, on Sunday. Also on Sunday, Dr. Jaishankar met with the new cohort of the Munich Young Leaders for 2024. He took the opportunity to ask the young leaders to take a positive approach towards global challenges and seek collaborative solutions. After all, the solutions for war and conflicts over the world lie in peacefully resolving them through dialogue and diplomacy. Tanvi Taneja for DD India.
And India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that ties with West Asia are passing through one of its best periods. The steady growth of ties have enabled West Asian nations to explore newer domains of cooperation with India. And with the inauguration of the BAPS temple in Abu Dhabi, India and the region have made great strides towards peace and progress in today's turbulent world.
The inauguration of a grand Hindu temple in Abu Dhabi on February 14th tells the story of rising ties and close bonds between India and the United Arab Emirates. The steady growth of ties have enabled both nations to explore new domains of cooperation. On Sunday, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that ties with West Asia are passing through one of the best periods.
आज भारतीय क्षेत्र से संबंधों का नया अध्याय लिख रहा है। पहले लोग सोचते थे कि बस तेल का इंपोर्ट कर लेते हैं और यहां से कुछ लेबर भेज देते हैं ताकि उनको रोजी रोटी मिल जाए, लेकिन अब ऐसा नहीं है। आज ट्रेड, टेक्नोलॉजी, टूरिज्म ऐसे अनेक क्षेत्रों में हमारे संबंध बहुत बेहतर हैं और हम निरंतर विकास कर रहे हैं।
India's ties with West Asia has grown in recent years. About 3.5 million strong and vibrant Indian community forms the largest expatriate group in the UAE. India and the UAE signed a comprehensive economic partnership agreement in February 2022. UAE is among the top 4 investors in India in terms of foreign direct investments in 2022-23. Qatar is India's largest supplier of LPG, accounting for 29% of India's total LPG imports. Indian community comprises around 27% of the total population of Qatar. Indian tourists to Bahrain increased 87% to 504,173 during the first half of 2023. During his recent visit to Abu Dhabi, Indian Prime Minister highlighted the expanding areas of cooperation with UAE.
आज यूएई भारत का तीसरा बड़ा ट्रेड पार्टनर है। आज यूएई सातवां बड़ा इन्वेस्टर है। हम दोनों देश ईज ऑफ लिविंग और ईज ऑफ डूइंग बिजनेस दोनों में बहुत अधिक सहयोग कर रहे हैं।
Bilateral activities in non-traditional security spheres such as healthcare, space cooperation among others are gradually becoming salient characteristics of India-West Asia ties. Fuzail Ahmed reporting for DD India.
And still to come on DD India News Hour. Protests and demonstrations continue unabated against alleged poll rigging in Pakistan, though Election Commission denies accusation. The underwater footage of interior of cargo ship which sank in the Marmara Sea released by Turkish rescue team. And death of 2 police officers and a first responder in Minnesota sent shockwaves. Investigation on to find headway. Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lipakshi Khurana. Moving on to U.S. elections now. Republican presidential contender Nikki Haley lashed out at Donald Trump on Sunday while campaigning South Carolina ahead of the state's primary election. Haley reminded her supporters of the legal woes the former U.S. president faces in various courts, as well as his reaction to the New Hampshire primary. Haley is Trump's last remaining rival for the Republican presidential nomination. She stressed that Trump cannot be an effective president or candidate because of his myriad legal problems.
Our election day is on Saturday.
That never stops.
And this a year ago
reality.
this week,
One
I
app
announced
stands
I was running for president. And it's been quite the roller coaster. And when I look at how far we've come, there were 14 people in the race. We've defeated a dozen of the fellas. I just got one more fella I got to catch up to. And the night of the New Hampshire election, if you were watching, Donald Trump was unhinged. He didn't expect me to get 43%. He talked about revenge. He criticized my dress. Then the next day he went and he said anybody that supports her is barred permanently from MAGA. The issue is, if you're running for president of the United States, it's all about addition. You want people to come in. You don't want to push people away.
Well, moving on, in Pakistan, protesters demonstrated in Quetta on Sunday against alleged poll rigging in recently concluded general election. The sit-in demonstrations outside the Deputy Commissioner's office began after elections were held earlier this month. Questions have been raised about the fairness of the election, and there have been demonstrations across the country with protesters alleging election rigging. The Election Commission has denied such accusations and said legal forums would address any specific concerns. Well, at least 53 people were killed in tribal fighting in the northern highlands of Papua New Guinea. A report by local newspaper said the violence took place on Sunday and was connected to a battle between two tribes. Security is a new major issue in Papua New Guinea, with at least 16 killed in riots in country last month. And two police officers and a first responder were killed in Burnsville, Minnesota, while responding to an emergency call. The incident occurred during a domestic abuse call for assistance. The officers tried to negotiate with an assailant who refused to release 7 children, but were met with gunfire upon entering the home. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz confirmed the officers were killed while responding to the call. The Department of Public Safety is in coordination with local authorities to conduct the investigation. Well, huge crowds takes to the streets of Mexico City to protest against their president government targeting the country's ruling party in advance of the country's June 2nd elections. Thousands of people dressed in pink flocked to the city's main plaza roaring, "Get Lopez out." Others carried signs reading, "The power of the people is greater than the people in power." Marches were organized in 100 cities across the country and other cities in the United States and Spain. Well, Thailand's jailed former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra was released on parole on Sunday. Thaksin returned to his family's Bangkok residence on Sunday morning after having completed parole proceedings. The influential billionaire was in hospital detention for 6 months for abuse of power and conflicts of interest. His sentence had been commuted from 8 years to 1 by the country's king. Thaksin was eligible for parole during his age, health condition and time served, and had been detained in hospital on health grounds. Moving on, the House of Representatives of Nepal on Sunday passed the Financial Procedures and Financial Liability Ordinance 2080 by a majority. Finance Minister of Nepal, Dr. Prakash Sharan Mehet, tabled the ordinance. The ordinance opened the door for the government to submit the principles and priorities of the budget before the Parliament within the last week of February. The previous deadline for setting the budget ceiling was also amended through the ordinance. And a battery recycling plant in southern France has caught fire with 900 tons of lithium batteries, causing a cloud of black smoke. The fire broke out in a warehouse owned by French recycling group SNEM. Lithium batteries are essential in electrical devices but contain combustible materials that can make them vulnerable to fire when exposed to heat. The fire is under control but is expected to last for several hours. A security note warns that in case of a major fire, products present there may result in emission of cadmium through fumes. La Paz, Bolivia is in orange alert due to a dam almost reaching its maximum level, threatening to cause overflows in rivers. The mayor, Ivan Arias, and government technicians visited the Incasa Dam to verify its water level control. The city is also in orange alert due to heavy rainfall causing landslides that have buried houses and left victims. A landslide forced locals to escape their homes, resulting in a woman and 2 minors killed and around 60 families left homeless. The National Meteorology and Hydrology Service predicts continuous rain and moderate thunderstorms from Saturday night until Wednesday.
In October, we inspected this dam and it was 2 to almost 3 meters below. And now look at this sea of water. There are even tributaries that were not visible before. And now look how they are. So now the dam has reached its point, not yet at its maximum, but it has reached a high point that is allowing the water to flow out through one of its spillway gates.
Well, taking pictures or videos of living things has now been banned for government functionaries in Afghanistan's Kandahar province. In a letter addressed to civil and military officials, the Interior Provincial Department directed them to refrain from taking pictures of living things in your formal and informal gatherings because it causes more harm than good. The ban on television and images of living beings echoes the previous Taliban rule from 1996 to 2001. Since the Taliban's return to power over 2 years ago, various media organizations have voluntarily refrained from featuring images of people and animals. An Eiffel Tower will be closed to visitors on Monday as its workers are expected to go on strike, calling for a review of financial management by Paris City Hall. Union members say the Paris City Hall, which owns 99% of the Eiffel Tower operator state's capital, is underestimating the cost of works on the monument planned ahead of the Paris Olympic Games. This, they said, will result in lax maintenance works to the detriment of visitors and put a heavier workload on the workers. Well, Egypt's Antiquities Authority has opened a new section of the Citadel of Cairo to the public for the first time, featuring two semicircular towers. The Citadel, one of the world's largest medieval citadels, was built around 1176 AD under Muslim military commander Salah al-Din al-Ayyubi. The newly opened section, including the Ramla and Hadad towers, was built by successors after Salah al-Din's death. The citadel was previously used as a previous event space and housed army and police barracks. And now let's take a look at other stories making news around the world. Prince Andrew, the younger brother of King Charles, turned 64 on February 19th. Born in 1960, Andrew was stripped of titles and removed from royal duties due to his friendship with financier Jeffrey Epstein and a related assault allegation. Despite occasional appearances at family events, Andrew has been frozen out of public roles. Polling firm YouGov shows only 8% of people in Britain have a favourable view of him. Marty Diop's documentary Dahomey premiered at the Berlin Film Festival, focusing on the repatriation of 26 royal treasurers from the Kingdom of Dahomey, present-day Benin, from Paris in November 2021. The works, including royal thrones and warrior dance staffs, were formally welcomed back to Benin at a ceremony presided over by President Patrice Talon. The film is one of 20 vying for the top Golden Bear Best Film Award at this year's Berlinale. Turkish rescue teams have released underwater footage of the interior of a sunken ship named Batuhan A as the search for the missing crew continues. The 69-meter cargo ship sank in the Marmara Sea off the coast of Turkey's northwestern Bursa province. The Macau Comicers Association has published 11 books in the Comic Book Macau series, aiming to inspire elementary and secondary school students about Macau's history. President Wong Tin-chun believes the small market and local animation and comics industry development depend on the Greater Bay Area and other places. He hopes the government and Macau enterprises can provide more opportunities for local arts groups to participate in the development of region's history. Wild conditions at the Hurley Pro Sunset Beach tested surfers, with Jodie Smith scoring a near-perfect 9.33 and securing the day's highest combined heat total of 15.5. Hawaii's John Florence showcased local knowledge, while Ethana Wing of Australia reached the 8-point range. And still to come on DD India News Hour. President of India to visit Andaman and Nicobar Islands for 5 days. PM Modi to visit Uttar Pradesh today to launch over 14,000 projects worth 10 crore lakh rupees. The fourth round of talks between farmers and government ministers concluded. Farmers guaranteed a minimum support price.
In a world that never stops, where information shapes our reality, one app stands out, helps you stay ahead of time. Introducing the DD India app, your gateway to a world of news right at your fingertips. Your most trusted source of news goes global, goes digital. Explore a world of options, top stories, live updates, in-depth analysis, and more. Stay informed wherever you are. Real-time alerts keep you ahead of the curve always. The DD India app, connecting you to the world one story at a time. Download now and explore the world of knowledge, insights, and authentic information.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lepakshi Kurana, and time now for a quick recap of the headlines. Russia takes full control of the Ukrainian town of Avdiivka after Ukrainian troops withdrew. Forging naval alliances for a secure maritime future, India is set to host a 9-day mega naval exercise Milan 2024 in Visakhapatnam in Andhra Pradesh. And Indian women beat USA in shootout at the FIH Hockey Pro League 2023-24. While moving on, India is set to hosting a 9-day mega naval exercise in Visakhapatnam from the 19th of February. More than 50 countries are going to participate in the 12th edition of Milan exercise, which will be held at India's Visakhapatnam from Monday. The 9-day exercise would be an excellent platform for the participating navies to share ideas to enhance security on the high seas and ensure safety of maritime commerce for growth and prosperity of all. In addition to building bridges of friendship and strengthening of relationships, the exercise would enhance interoperability, enable exchange of best practices, and will boost confidence to undertake missions together in the future to tackle common challenges. Well, participants are arriving for the Milan exercise in Visakhapatnam. The Sunrise Command of the Indian Navy extends a warm welcome to USS Haley, an Eregelberg-class guided missile destroyer of the United States Navy, to the city of destiny, Visakhapatnam, for Milan 2024. The objective of exercise is to ensure the safety of maritime trade for the benefit of all stakeholders. Milan 2024 is expected to see participation of over 50 navies. Indian Navy Chief Admiral R. Hari Kumar said tempo of operation is quite high as 40 Navy ships have been deployed in other operations which have never been the case earlier.
Both the carriers are going to be there for Milan per se. But the operationalization of the carrier, in the sense the integration into the fleet and participation of the fleet, that is going to happen in 10 days' time. On completion of Milan, the carriers as well as the escort ships, they will all go to the western seaboard, and we are going to integrate them. Tempo of operation is quite high in the western seaboard right now because 10 of our ships are deployed for anti-drone measures, and another 3 ships are deployed for 3 to 4 ships are deployed for anti-piracy operations, which is unprecedented. It's not been this case earlier.
Well, President of India, Draupadi Murmu, will begin her visit to Andaman and Nicobar Islands from today. On February 19, the President will lay a wreath at the Martyrs Column and visit the Cellular Jail Complex and Museum. Later, the President will visit Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Institute of Technology, Port Blair, to attend a civic reception to be hosted in her honour. On February 20th, the President will visit Indira Point and Campbell Bay. She will also visit Subhash Chandra Bose Island and witness the Light and Sound Show. On February 21st, the President will interact with the members of PVTGs of Andaman and Nicobar Islands at Raj Niwas, Port Blair. On the same day, she will witness the operational demonstration by troops at Radhanagar Beach. Also, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi to visit Uttar Pradesh today. He will lay the foundation stone of Sri Kalki Dham Temple in Sambhal district. Prime Minister will also unveil the model of Sri Kalki Dham Temple and address the gathering on this occasion. At around 1:45 p.m. IST, Prime Minister will also launch 14,000 projects across Uttar Pradesh worth more than 10 lakh crore rupees. The projects relate to sectors like manufacturing, renewable energy, IT and ITS, food processing, housing and real estate, hospitality and entertainment, education, among others. The program will be attended by about 5,000 participants.
Last year, we had organized Global Investor Summit, and during that summit, we had received the investment proposals of more than 30 lakh crores. Out of them, more than 10 lakh crores investment proposals are now ready for groundbreaking. So this groundbreaking ceremony is going to be inaugurated tomorrow, and Lucknow is ready for this mega event. This is an opportunity for UP as well as Lucknow to project itself at national and international level as the investment destination.
Well, India began exporting bananas to Russia. Consignment of 20 metric tons of bananas was flagged off on 17th of February 2024 from Maharashtra. Recently, Russia has shown keen interest in the procurement of tropical fruits from India, with bananas being one of them, which significantly is a major agri-import of Russia. The major export destinations for Indian bananas include Iran, Iraq, UAE, Oman, Uzbekistan, Saudi Arabia, Nepal, Qatar, Kuwait, Bahrain, Afghanistan and the Maldives. Additionally, the USA, Russia, Japan, Germany, China, the Netherlands, the UK and France present India with abundant export opportunities. Banana is a major horticultural produce, with Andhra Pradesh being the largest banana producing state in India, followed by Maharashtra, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu and Uttar Pradesh. These 5 states collectively contribute around 67% to India's banana production in the fiscal year 2022-23. In the fiscal year 2022-23, India exported bananas worth $176 million within the next 5 years. Banana exports from India are expected to achieve the target of $1 billion. This achievement will ensure an increase in farmers' income and improve the livelihood of more than 25,000 farmers, and is estimated to generate employment for more than 50,000 aggregators directly or indirectly linked to the supply chain. And Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has congratulated Indonesia's likely new president, Prabowo Subianto, and said that he is looking forward to strengthening comprehensive strategic partnership between India and Indonesia. In a tweet, PM Modi said, and I quote, "Congratulations to the people of Indonesia on the successful presidential elections and at Prabowo on the lead. Look forward to working with the new presidency to further strengthen comprehensive strategic partnership between India and Indonesia," unquote. Prabowo Subianto has declared victory in the presidential race, citing unofficial tallies that showed him winning with more than 55% of the vote. The official vote tally is a laborious process that could take several weeks to complete. On winning, Prabowo will succeed Joko Widodo as the next president of the Southeast Asian nation. An Indian government has proposed a plan for minimum support price, that is MSP, for crop diversification. The 4th round of talks between farmers and government ministers concluded on Sunday. India's Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal and Minister of State for Agriculture Arjun Munda were among the government officials attending the talks. The farmers agreed to deliberate on the proposals with experts. The proposal promises a guaranteed minimum price to farmers for growing specific pulses and corn that would be given by government cooperatives.
जो किसान अपना क्रॉप डाइवर्सिफाई करके या तो तूर दाल बनाए, उड़द दाल बनाए, मसूर की दाल बनाए या मक्का बनाए, उनको 5 साल के लिए एक कॉन्ट्रैक्ट करके एनसीसीएफ और नेफेड गारंटी करेगा कि अगले 5 साल तक एमएसपी पर खरीदेगी.
Well, in a bid to work towards the development of the farmer, the Indian government launched the Soil Health Card Scheme. On 19th of February 2015, Soil Health Card Scheme help farmers use balanced fertilizers that reduces their cost and increase profits as the health of the soil improves. Let's see more in this report.
India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi has launched a Soil Health Card Scheme based on the theme of Healthy Dhara Khet Hara, or Healthy Soil Green Farm, which aimed at helping farmers in providing information about the status of nutrients in their soil. With the help of this scheme, farmers are benefited with the information regarding the proper dosage of nutrients to be applied to improve the health of the soil and its productivity.
किसानों को जगह जगह पर अपने पंचायत स्तर पर, अपने ब्लॉक स्तर पर, जिला स्तर पर लैब लगाने का काम किया, ताकि किसान अपनी ज़मीन की उर्वरक शक्ति को चेक कराए, कौन कितना खाद चाहिए, कितना पानी चाहिए, कितना बीज चाहिए, कौन सा बीज चाहिए, कौन सा बीज की उत्पादन ज़्यादा होगा, तो वो हर दृष्टि से किसान को लाभ मिलने का काम.
So far, more than 200 million soil health cards have been distributed to farmers under the health card scheme. Timely guidelines are given for implementation of various activities regarding soil health. Under the scheme, more than $27 million have been released so far to the Indian state and union territories for soil testing laboratories.
And the birth anniversary of the Maratha Emperor Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj is celebrated on the 19th of February. Shivaji Maharaj is one of those valiant sons of India whose valor is enshrined in the pages of history. February 19, 2024 marks the 394th birth anniversary of Maharaj, and various programs have been organized throughout the state on the occasion. Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj is one of the brave sons of India whose valor has been recorded in golden letters in the pages of history. Maharaja's spirit is exemplified not only in Maharashtra but all over the country, and his name is taken with pride. He laid the foundation of the Maratha Empire to liberate the nation from the clutches of the Mughals. Besides being a patriot, he was an efficient administrator and a courageous warrior. In 1674, he laid the foundation of the Maratha Empire in Western India. During this time, he was formally crowned as the Chhatrapati or Emperor of the Maratha Empire. The Persian language was widely used in that period, so Maharaj promoted the use of Marathi and Sanskrit in court and administration. Due to his contribution, Maharaj is called Maratha Gaurav. He is known as the pioneer of guerrilla warfare and is revered as the father of the Indian Navy. Maharaj was also a great believer in the rights of women. Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj Jayanti is an important observance that honors the birth anniversary of the honored Maratha Emperor. The birth anniversary of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj is celebrated with great enthusiasm every year, and this year marks the 350th anniversary of the coronation of the Maharaj. Every year, a special program is organized at Shivneri Fort in the presence of the Chief Minister. 1,100 policemen and home guards will be deployed at Fort Shivneri on the occasion of Shiv Jayanti, and devotees are requested to reach the fort after 10 a.m. Pune Rural Superintendent of Police Pankaj Deshmukh has urged.
1,100 policemen and home guards will be deployed at Fort Shivneri on the occasion of Shiv Jayanti, and devotees are requested to reach the fort after 10 a.m. Once the event is over, the citizens will be permitted at the fort after 10 a.m. Full care will be taken to ensure that no untoward incident takes place during the event.
Along with the celebration of this year's birth anniversary at the government level in the district, various social organizations and educational institutions will also be celebrating by organizing various programs at their level. Shama Mishra reports for DD India. And now let's take a look at other stories making news today. Lieutenant General Upendra Dwivedi on Monday assumed the appointment of Vice Chief of Army Staff, later read at the National War Memorial in India's national capital, New Delhi. Around 130 makeshift houses were gutted in a fire in the Indian capital, Delhi. A fire call was received by the Delhi Fire Service Department from the Shahabad Dairy of North Delhi area at around 10 p.m. on Sunday. A total of 15 fire tenders rushed to the site and controlled the fire. The cause of fire is still unknown. No casualty and injuries reported so far. Indian Meteorological Department has forecasted for an intense spell of rainfall and snowfall activity over the western Himalayan region for the next 2 days. The Met Department said rainfall is likely over the plains of northwest India till 21st of February. The department alerts for fairly widespread moderate rainfall over North India's Punjab, Haryana, Delhi, West Uttar Pradesh and Rajasthan. Moderate to heavy snowfall continue to cover India's Himachal Pradesh Atal Tunnel in Rohtang, bringing cheers to residents, tourists and farmers. Local authorities have also taken measures to ensure normal heating and water supplies. Calcutta High Court and Supreme Court both would hear Sandesh Khali petitions today. Leader of opposition Suvendu Adhikari sought judicial intervention as no political leaders are allowed to enter Sandesh Khali in West Bengal. The top court will hear a PIL demanding special investigation and other issues. Meanwhile, chairperson of National Commission for Women is scheduled to visit Sandesh Khali today. Devotees throng Ayodhya's Ram birthplace temple for the darshan of Ram Lalla. Since the inauguration of the temple, more than 1 million devotees have visited the holy site to offer prayers and seek the blessings of Lord Ram Lalla. And still to come on DD India News Hour. Indian women rewrite history at the Badminton Asia Team Championships. Asian shares got off to a slow start on Monday as fading chances for early rate cuts globally soured the mood. Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lipakshi Khurana and moving on to business news now. The dollar was steady on Monday after data last week showing U.S. inflation remained a sticky cast doubts on when the Federal Reserve would start its easing cycle. U.S. markets are closed on Monday for the President's Day holiday, with volumes likely to be low through the day. The dollar index, which measures the U.S. currency against 6 major rivals, started the week down 0.058%. After clocking 5 straight weeks of gains, the index is up 3% this year. Data last week showed both U.S. producer prices and consumer prices increased more than expected in January, with apparent stickiness in inflation raising the prospects of a delayed start due to Fed's rate cuts. Also, Asian shares were off to a stuttering start on Monday as fading chances for early rate cuts globally soured the mood, and Chinese markets returned from holiday with only muted gains. A holiday for U.S. markets also made for thin trading. Japan's Nikkei dipped to 0.3%, having surged more than 4% last week to stop just short of its all-time high. Chinese blue chips inched up 0.3% and Shanghai stock 0.7%. Oil prices were softer in early trade as concerns about demand tussled with the threat of supply disruptions in the Middle East. Brent slipped 51 cents to $82.96 a barrel, while U.S. crude for April fell 52 cents to $77.94 per barrel. And ground staff at German airline Lufthansa will go on strike on Tuesday, which is going to be the latest industrial action to hit Germany's transport sector as workers demand more pay. The airports affected are Frankfurt, Munich, Hamburg, Berlin, Düsseldorf, Cologne and Stuttgart after the announcement by Verdi Union on Sunday. A similar strike caused the cancellation of 900 out of 1,000 planned flights at the start of February, affecting about 100,000 passengers. The ground service arm is among several groups of Lufthansa workers in negotiations over collective bargaining agreements. Germany, Europe's largest economy, has been hit with a number of nationwide strikes affecting air travel, railways and public transport. And you're watching DD India News. Time now for some sports news. Just a day after upsetting world number 3 Australian, Indian women's hockey team once again played a fast-paced brand of hockey to defeat the US 2-1 in thrilling shootout of their FIH Pro League 2023-24 match on Sunday. India clinched a victory after the two teams were deadlocked at 1-1 at regulation time in their FIH Pro League match at the Birsa Munda Hockey Stadium in Rourkela on Sunday. India's captain and seasoned custodian West Indian Savita Punia exhibited heroic prowess by making outstanding saves in the shootout as the USA managed to convert only 1 out of the 5 shots through Leah Krause. In contrast, for the home team, Mumtaz Khan and Sonika successfully converted their shots, securing a 2-1 victory for India in the penalty shootout. With 8 points from as many outings, India are currently 5th in 2023-24 Age Pro League standings. And Indian women created history by clinching their first ever Badminton Asia Team Championships crown with a 3-2 victory over Thailand in Shah Alam city of Malaysia. Today, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi congratulated the winning team and called the accomplishment historical on the social media platform X. The Indian team showed that they were the superior outfit in the finals with convincing wins by former world champion PV Sindhu and hard-fought triumph by Trisa Jolly and Gayatri Gopi Chand, and national champion Anmol Kharab winning the deciding rubber in style to take the team home. It again came down to Anmol to win the deciding point for the team. She wrapped up the match 21-14, 21-9 to send the entire team in a frenzied celebrations. And after the victory, India's Minister for Youth Affairs and Sports, Anurag Singh Thakur, congratulated the team on X. Nari Shakti leading the way in the Amrit Kal as they come up with another historic victory, making it a Super Sunday. Many congratulations to the Indian women's badminton team for clinching the first ever medal at the Badminton Asia Team Championship, emerging as champions and bringing pride and happiness on the faces of every Indian. My best wishes to all. Let's keep scaling new heights, he said. And India romped to a 434-run victory in the third test against England to go 2-1 up in the 5-match series. India set England a mammoth target of 557 runs after opener Yashasvi Jaiswal smashed an unbeaten 214. In reply, the tourists were bundled out for 122 runs.
It was a clinical performance by India in the third test. They crushed England by 434 runs to go 2-1 up in the 5-match series. Ravindra Jadeja played a stellar role with bat and ball. He doubled up his first innings century with a 5-wicket haul to pave the way for India's biggest test win by runs. India set England a huge target of 557 runs and then bundled out the tourists for 122. Opener Yashasvi Jaiswal smashed an unbeaten 214 runs. Shubham Gill made 91 and debutant Sarfaraz Khan struck his second 50 of the match before India declared their second innings on 430 for 4 wickets. Jaiswal emulated Vinod Kambli's feat. He became the third youngest to slam 2 test double centuries following his 209 in the second test. Jaiswal also equaled Wasim Akram's record of hitting 12 sixes in a test innings. Chasing a record 557 run for victory, England's sweeping tendencies came up a cropper on the fourth day as Ravindra Jadeja ran through the middle order, taking 5 wickets for 41. None of the England batters put up any resistance to Indian spinners. Once Kuldeep Yadav dismissed England batsman Ben Stokes for 15, the match was effectively over. Mark Wood made a quick-fire 33 before being the last England batters dismissed. The fourth test begins on Friday in Ranchi. Sport Desk, DD India.
An Indian women's table tennis team beat Hungary 3-2 in its second group stage clash to register the first win at the World Table Tennis Team Championships in Busan city of South Korea. Manika Batra won 2 matches while Ahaya Mukherjee won a game. In the decider, Batra showed her class as she beat Georgina Pota with a 11-15, 14-12, 13-11 score. Meanwhile, the Indian men's team lost to Poland 3-1 in its second group stage match. India's veteran paddler Achanta Sharath Kamal was defeated by Jakub Dajas in the opening match of the tie. Indian men will be up against South Korea on Monday, New Zealand on Tuesday. Well, India finished on top of the International Shooting Sport Federation World Cup 10-meter rifle pistol in Granada, Spain on Sunday. India won 4 gold, 3 silver and 3 bronze medals to be perched atop the standings. With 10 medals on the concluding day of the competition, the Indian 10-meter air rifle shooters missed the cut to make the final on Sunday. Paris Olympic qualifiers Tilotama Sen and Mehuli Ghosh shot identical scores of 630.9 to finish 10th and 11th respectively. Olympian Divyash Harsh Panwar was India's topmost performer in the men's 10-meter air rifle with a qualifying mark of 629.8, which gave him 11th spot in the 60-plus field. And Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi is visiting Uttar Pradesh today. He laid the foundation stone of Sri Kalki Dham Temple in Sambhal district.
Surya Somo Yamah Kalo Mahabhutani Panchacho Ete Shubha Shubha Prokta Karmano Navasakshinaha Adya Purvocharita Evam Guna Visheshena Vishishtayam Shubha Punyadithau Asmina Bharata Varshi Uttara Pradeshi Sambhala Mandala Antaragata Aichoda Kambu.
All right, that's all for this edition of DD India News Hour. But let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can connect with us on Facebook, X, formerly known as Twitter and Instagram. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Lipakshi Khurana. From all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India News Hour.